of the Department for Work and Pensions and local job centres to try and attract the right candidates and identify the ones who had the right skill sets, who will really thrive in these roles.
Wastage isn't the only challenge Britain's farms are facing. Changes to the cost of importing plants from Europe and sustainable fertiliser from India are adding financial pressures too.
We could get a bag for £1.08 before. We're now looking at £1.76 a bag.
How sustainable is that?
Unless the fruit price we get back for the fruit goes up, it's going to be a problem. We've already sort of saved costs wherever we can, and yeah.
Those who have made it to the UK know that every berry counts, compensating for staff shortages by working faster, longer, in an attempt to stop anything going to waste. Laura Macon-Isherwood, CNA, Southport.
Over a dozen people have died following a cable car accident in the Alps in Italy. A cable car cabin was heading up the mountain when it plunged near the end of its trip, and it fell some 20 meters.
More than a dozen people died and at least 3 were seriously injured in Italy on Sunday when a cable car linking Lake Maggiore with a nearby mountain in the Alps plunged to the ground. The Stresa Matarone cable car carries tourists and local people from the town of Stresa, almost 1,400 meters above sea level, to the top of Matarone mountain. Marcella Severino, Stresa's mayor, told a national broadcaster that the accident happened as the cable car was traveling up the mountain. The cabin dropped some 20 meters and rolled several times down the steep slopes before it was stopped by trees. Coroners had started identifying the victims, who included foreign nationals, she said, without giving further details. A spokesperson for Italy's Alpine Rescue Service told a local broadcaster that 2 children had been transported by helicopter to a pediatric hospital in the nearby northern city of Turin. The Stresa Matarone lift had only recently reopened following the gradual lifting of coronavirus restrictions. Italian Prime Minister Mario Draghi voiced his condolences to the families of the victims, with a special thought for the wounded children.
Eugenia, we're back with you in a moment with your Asia business update, including better prospects of debt recovery from a former oil trading empire. Some of the world's biggest banks are circling. One of the moments
Should you use your CPF for property investment? Come to the Singapore Property Show 2021 to learn more from leading property market experts in 40 informative webinars. Our top flight speakers will be covering a wide range of topics to help you make a most informed decision. How do you make the most of your CPF for property investment? Are ECs still the golden goose? Is owning multiple properties only for the wealthy? What kind of property is in demand by district? Get these answers and more. Plus, stand to win $8,000 worth of cash prizes. Join us at our webinars this weekend on 29th and 30th May for essential property investment advice. What are you waiting for? Visit sps2021.99.co to register now. The Singapore Property Show 2021 is proudly organized by MediaCorp and our esteemed partners.
There was a huge manhunt for this man.
Podcast producer Rovik Roberts investigates a mysterious murder from the past.
This is a spicy case. Spicy.
To understand how Singapore turned from a city of vice.
Singapore was a Chicago of the East. Clashes and shootings were rampant.
Into one of the safest in the world.
When the caning started, holy smoke, it was a game changer.
Into the Vault 3, Wednesday on CNA.
What are the financial forces driving Asia's rise, from transnational business expansions and technology for digital growth to untapped opportunities in the region and beyond. Understand the trends, innovations and corporate deals that are building Asia. On Asia First, Monday mornings on CNA.
He's just looking at us with his eyes wide open. Oh, it's so cute.
I'm Shushan, and in this series, I'll be tracking into hidden parts of Singapore.
Oh my god, treacherous!
To find out what's being done to save our biodiversity.
Every animal plays a significant role.
And if we're running out of time.
It seems that there is an uptrend in number of roadkills.
It's in our nature. Video on demand on CNA.Asia.
Have fun while breaking a sweat on your next visit to Gangnam. Enjoy the weightlessness of bungee fitness, or learn the health benefits of pole dancing. So don't miss the opportunity to feel the burn with the latest workout trends in Korea. Gangnam Insiders Picks, Sunday on CNA. This program is brought to you by the Gangnam-gu office.
In business news, in Thailand, the unemployment rate hit a 12-year high of 1.96% in the first quarter of this year. That's in the wake of tightening measures to fight a third wave of infections. Officials say they expect the unemployment rate to rise again. In Thailand, the official definition of being unemployed is rather narrow. It includes only those who do not work a single hour in a surveyed week and excludes those with a business or owning farms. While the jobless rate rose, the number of employed workers, however, inched ahead, up by 0.4% on year. And that's due to higher employment in the agricultural sector. Just last week, the State Planning Agency cut its growth outlook for this year to a range of between 1.5 and 2.5%. Indonesia is considering an alternative minimum tax approach for companies to prevent tax avoidance. It's part of sweeping tax reforms that the finance minister laid out in Parliament. Sri Mulyani Indrawati says the tax reforms are meant to create fairness and equality for companies. Amongst the other changes, she plans to introduce a new upper band for individual income taxes. That's to charge 35% for a portion of income for those earning more than 5 billion rupiah a year. That amounts to almost $350,000. Singapore's High Court has accepted a request to freeze up to $3.5 billion of assets of the former oil tycoon Lim Oon Koon and his two children. Liquidators of Lim's firm Hin Leong Trading made the request so they can recover money owed to almost 24 banks and other creditors globally. The family's assets include multi-million-dollar homes, shares, funds, and country club memberships over the world. Hin Leong was placed under interim judicial management in April last year after it was found to have overstated its assets by at least $3 billion. The sum masked about $800 million worth of trading losses over a decade. The alleged fraud came into light after oil prices collapsed last year as the pandemic roiled markets. Swedish telecoms firm Ericsson is warning that it may get a lower share in China's 5G rollout than what it has in the current infrastructure market there. That's partly due to a spat over the exclusion of Chinese vendors in Sweden's rollout plan of ultra-fast networks. Ericsson has been invited to various ongoing tender processes in China, but the final outcome remains uncertain. Last year, the Swedish government banned Huawei from supplying 5G equipment due to security concerns. Small and medium-sized companies in Hong Kong are struggling. A recent survey suggests that business confidence there is at its lowest level for 2 years running. And some firms are pushing for people in the territory to get inoculated against COVID-19 as vaccine hesitancy has taken hold. But as Roland Lim tells us, they also want more help from the government.
Ray Oh, who once led Hong Kong's Muay Thai team in international competition, is trained in the School of Hard Knocks. But not to